Alright, what's up, reviewers? This is Smooth the Reviewer, and today I'm going to be giving y'all the video I promised. Oshinoko has officially ended after 4 years of serialization. So that is insane. 4 whole years, and I only just started reading I've only been reading for a year, so it's actually crazy that this series has been going on for 4 years and it just ended 2 days ago. So if you haven't seen my last video, please go check that out. I gave all of my thoughts on like the last few chapters from up until chapter 165, and the final chapter 166 came out 2 days ago. I've had some time to gather all of my thoughts. I've had time to look at other people's thoughts, and now I'm gonna make this video on it. So let's see. I guess there's honestly so much I could talk about, guys, that I don't really even know where to begin. So let's just go to the chapter itself for right now. So last chapter is called Star, and we get this really good illustration right here. Yeah, like I think this is a really good last illustration. And Mingo, he's always been like a great artist for this series. That's been always been one of Oshinoko's strong points. It's had good art, and it kept with that through the very end. So to make sure this video doesn't go too long, I'm just gonna go ahead and just sort of summarize the chapter. So basically, the chapter continues with Akane monologuing, and she basically talks about here how there's like a lot of darkness in the world, and many people's dreams don't come true. But the real thing to keep in mind is that you just kind of have to have hope. You have no hope for tomorrow in this world filled with people like that, and but you still have to. So we get into more of Ruby's reaction here. Ruby was crying the whole time, and I think this is a good thing. Us seeing more of Ruby's reaction, more of her crying. So you know what? Let me just, or no, I'll state that at the end. But yeah, let me just say that yeah, I really like the fact that we got more of Ruby's reaction here, because like I said in my last video, it's crazy how we only get the reaction of her brother dying in the last two chapters. Her brother, like probably the closest person to her, dies, and we only get to see her reaction to it in the last two chapters. But I like the fact that this chapter does spend like a good portion of it. She basically just nonstop crying with tears, and it was like at the end of it all, she kept moving forward. So this is why I was talking about with hope. Even though she's like uncontrollably crying, she just still kept moving forward and continued on becoming an idol. So we see here, Memcho, she took a break from YouTube, and then even Kana, she kept moving forward too. She came and picked up Mencho, and then they went ahead and comforted Ruby also. Then we get to see our last panels of like every other side character. We see, I think, Minami and Frill. We see Melt, and then we see Himakawa. Honestly, it's kind of crazy. I feel like Himakawa could have had like more to do in the story. On all the side characters, pretty much most of the side characters could have had more to do. But like I guess it's good we get some kind of reaction out of all of them. But I think we probably should have gotten more of reaction from Himakawa besides like him just like sitting at the funeral and then just being at his family grave. Because like remember, Himakawa is Aqua's brother. He is Aqua and Ruby's brother at the end of the day, and Himakawa and Aqua were kind of getting close to each other, based off like the beach chapter and other chapters too. So then we also see crap. Why am I blinking on their name? Their foster mother, and then Ichigo. Miyako. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Miyako and Ichigo, they're continuing with Strawberry Productions. They're moving forward too. Akane and Kana, they're still doing their little acting stuff. They're I'm presuming that like Kana is getting better here. A lot of people are saying that this is Kana like just still crying after Aqua's death, like she cried mid set or something. Uh, maybe that's the case. I guess I know. At first I thought it was just like at first I thought this panel right here was her just wanting to do like another take because she just like wants to repeat it and she knows she can do it better. But I guess now looking at these two, it's like yeah, it makes more sense. She maybe just cried like mid filming and then was like, nah, I can do it. Yeah, and then we see we'll find a reason for living. Yeah, so B Komachi. So remember, Kana has fully left B Komachi, and then they got to find a new member. The director here, he's moving on, and basically we get to learn that Ruby is still suffering a lot, and this is, and don't worry, I'm gonna get into like all the problems with this, but let me just finish like reading through the chapter. Basically, even though Ruby is like suffering like with all her heart, she's bringing out the darkness in her heart when it mattered most. I don't really understand this line at all, but she's basically carrying on with the dream that Ruby and I wanted for her. And like basically the world. So it turns out the result of Aqua's plan, somehow worked. Somehow the world is just, fascinated with Ruby because her father killed her mother, and then his father presumably tried to kill his brother, but like they both died, so somehow that's like fascinating to the world, and she basically becomes like what her mother always dreamed of. So this is pretty much what it all leads up to. Ruby finally got to perform at the Dome, which is super good for her. That's been like her dream throughout the entire series, and I guess it's good that she finally got there. We see this new member here on the right with her, and then Memcho. So like yeah, they were able to get a third member. They got to perform. We see Akane and Kana inside the crowd. Everyone smiling. Ruby just performing her heart out and like basically inspiring people. And then we get this crazy panel right here with her just pointing her finger up and then all of the stars shining on her. This, okay, in all honesty, this moment would be so much better if like everything else surrounding it wasn't so terrible. I think some people might have felt like this moment kind of felt flat based off of like everything that's been happening, but I guess objectively for Ruby, it's good that she got to finally do this, And then we get to the last few panels here, I believe. I have to. Ruby is like, I'm working again today. I have to tell lie after lie. No matter how hard things get, I have to smile and have fun on stage. But this is an incredibly fun job. Watch me, you two. I'm going. And then, like I said earlier, she's basically just following the dream Aqua and I left out for her. And this is it. This is the final panel of Oshinoko's manga. After 4 years of serialization and 166 chapters, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. So now I guess I will go into how I feel overall. Overall, I don't think this was a terrible chapter. Okay? It's just everything around it is just terrible. Everything that came before it was just terrible. It's like, so a lot of people do like really, really hate this final chapter. A lot of people like just hate it completely. I don't hate it. I don't strongly hate it. I don't think it's like the best, but it's like, how do I say this? I don't think it's good, but I don't like stupidly hate it. And it's because the chat, I'm just trying to basically say the chapter itself is not terrible. Like I said, it's just everything that came before it. So let me try to explain everything. So, what was really the point of Oshinoko? Like in the end, if we think about it, what that's really the question that everyone has on their minds right now. Everyone over on Twitter is just what it's really just asking. What was the point? What was really the point of Oshinoko? Is if this is how it's going to end, if it's basically just going to end in the same spot it started. So what most people are really upset about is the fact that Ruby is basically just being like I. So remember, back up here, she says, I have to tell lie after lie and basically put up a facade, which is the same thing that happened with I. And that is why so many people are upset and like hate this ending, because it just feels like it ruins like the entire rest of the story. Aqua sacrificed himself for no real reason, okay? So as we all know, Aqua died doing a suicide attempt and also killing his father. And so this final chapter just really rubs people the wrong way, because it's like there's so many other things that Aqua could have done to try to get his father and like keep his sister safe, and it feels like the writer of the story just chose like the worst option. Aqua did not have to kill himself. He could have simply just just like recorded the conversation with Kamiki. I don't know which one to say. I don't know which one to say, Hikaru or Kamiki. I think most people call him just Kamiki, and so I just bear with me if I flip-flop between either or. But basically, he could have just recorded the conversation between them, brought that to the police, or like I've been telling this one friend that I've been talking about this series with, Nino is already telling Akane and everyone else the whole truth. So see, look back up in this chapter. So remember, we had this whole board of suspects and victims, and Himekawa, oh my gosh, Himekawa, I keep saying that. Kamiki is at the forefront of everything. So it really just doesn't seem like there was nothing that they could have done. It doesn't feel like Aqua dying was like the only solution to everything. That's why people just hate Aqua for like doing what he did, and they hate the author Aka so much for writing it like that, because there were so many other options that Aqua had instead of killing himself and leaving Ruby alone in the world. And that's like the biggest issue too. So a lot of people say that, so keep in mind, a lot of people do think the ending is good. A good majority amount of people like it, and one of the talking points that I saw was that basically this bittersweet ending we have is supposed to tell you to not be like Aqua and basically do the opposite of him, okay? And I don't think that argument really works, because the author tries to glorify Aqua killing himself, okay? So let's go back to this chapter, okay? He's literally dying and he's suffering, okay? But then in this very last panel right here, we have Aqua smiling. And it just doesn't work. And this is why I said in my last video, execution is what truly matters, because there would be so much less people having a problem with Aqua dying if the author didn't try to make it a good thing. The whole point of Oshinoko's story was that we wanted, at least for the readers, we wanted Aqua to find happiness and basically get rid of like his whole revenge aspect. We wanted him to either wanted him to like fully go with it, or we wanted him to get past it and live a happy life. And so Aqua dying in the way he does just completely contradicts it, okay? And it's not and the author tries to make it a good thing, to make suicide a good thing, basically. And it completely contradicts how Akane, this is what I saw one person said, Akane tried to kill herself too, right? And that was bad. But now, but now the author is basically saying suicide is a good thing as long as you're doing it to protect someone, so your sister's career and everything, which is already which is also another thing that just has people so upset. Protecting Ruby's career over being alive and being happy. It's just and like Aqua's motivation just switching up at the end from getting revenge for Ai to then protecting her sister does not work. It does not work because Ruby is left alone in the world. Keep in mind, the only blood-related family member Ruby has right now is Himekawa. And literally, Himekawa and her have had like one interaction, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was like the beach episode. Where is it at? I said beach episode. Chapter. Where is that chapter at? I'm pretty sure being at the end of summer. So this is like when they all went to the beach and everything. This is literally the only reaction I can think of where Ruby and Himekawa are interacting. They gave them drinks at the beach, and then Himekawa's like, "Thanks." It really is a perk. This part was funny. But anyways, this is the only really interaction I remember seeing between these two. So like they're not even that close, okay? Ruby has lost Aqua. They've lost their biological mother. And she's not even close with her brother. So Akka, the author, trying to make it seem like the suicide was like a good thing, just does not work. It doesn't work at all. And it's a it's a contradicting message, okay? And that's that's a big reason why so many people are more upset that it's a bittersweet ending. It being a bittersweet ending itself is not the problem. It's how it is executed and everything surrounding it. The whole story just feels like a waste because of this ending, okay? It just feels like such a waste because Aqua truly did want to have happiness and live a good life. What was the point of showing us what he wanted to do? Because I'm pretty sure it was in one of these chapters with right before Aqua like tried to cure his father and jumped over the thing. Aqua was talking about how there were so many things that he wanted to do. He wanted to become. He basically wanted to become a surgeon. He wanted to respond to Kana. He wanted to get an equal relationship with Akane. He wanted to talk with his brother more. I think that was one of them. He wanted to call Miyako mom. He wanted to do so many things, and then it's like he kills himself. That was the whole point of the story. Was Aqua finding happiness, and then he finds happiness in killing himself. I know I'm getting heated right now, but like this, it makes no sense. It just makes no sense. He finds happiness in killing himself. No, that doesn't work. That does not work for a good ending. And I always try to say that on here that the community is divided and all that. I've seen like people just say that the community is divided between they think it's a good ending and they think it's a bad ending. But honestly, for me, I don't even think it's really that divided. If you just go on Twitter like at all, you can see here that I feel like the overwhelming majority of responses is that it's a bad ending, And then I think it's just the people who are saying it's a good ending, it's just a loud minority. That's what I think. Because you see here, it's not an understatement to say that the ending of Oshinoko is a letdown. Akka continues to prove that he can't get an ending right. I'll briefly explain why the ending sucked. The ending was wild. Oshinoko, moral of the story. Here, I think this is a good post right here. Burden yourself with guilt, anger, resentment, or regret for your entire life and then die with those feelings amplified. Live for others, never for yourself. Suicide is a good selection to protect your loved ones. Have everyone you love suffer. This right here is the biggest thing. Everyone suffers. No one wins. That's really what the biggest problem with this ending is that no one wins. Okay, the author tries to make it seem like Ruby is set up for a good future, Kana is set up for a good future, Akane is set up for a good future. None of them are happy. Okay, sure they might have things like going might have things going for them, and they're seemingly moving on from Aqua, which is just not true. Okay, the chapter, these recent chapters where the last chapter where it's saying people are just getting over Aqua's death and they're pushing through it. No one believes that. Okay, no one believes that they're just over it just that quickly and then they're just gonna be fine. No, no. In the end, no one won in this manga. No one wins with this ending, and no one is happy. Everyone suffers, especially Kana, especially. Okay, well, no, probably especially Ruby, but like Kana is a close second too. Okay, another thing I want to talk about. Okay, Kana fans, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for Kana fans. Like genuinely, I feel so bad for you guys because your girl got nothing. Your girl legitimately got nothing from this entire manga. Okay? Kana was just she was just there. She was literally just there for along the ride, okay? It is insane that Kana is the only one who did not get to even kiss Aqua, okay? Let's think about that for a second. Akane literally dated and kissed Aqua, and then Ruby, well, at least right now, his biological sister, also kissed him. And Kana got nothing. All she got was some measly dates, okay? Kana got that one date in like the second season, and then she got this date in chapter 151, Catch Ball. This was some people might not even really call this a date, okay? And it's just insane. I feel so bad for you guys because y'all spent 4 years reading this just for her to get nothing. Aqua just turned her away, basically just turned her away at every corner, and she literally didn't even really didn't get to do much, okay? That's why I've said in previous videos, like Kana is just not, she's just really just not that good of a character because she just doesn't get to do much, and she's just suffering. She basically just suffering for this whole manga. The person that she loves does not reciprocate really love at all, and then he just ends up dying in the end too. She doesn't get anything. She doesn't do anything. And you know what's crazy is that people were saying, like, I think after this chapter where they play ball with each other, and then I think the last chapter, hold on, let me see if I can find that image. Can I find it? I don't think the image of when they actually get to go on a date. Here, hold on. When Kana gets to this one. I'm seriously in love. I think it's crazy that people after, I think, this chapter were saying that Kana was going to save Oshinoko. Wow. And that didn't end up happening at all, People were genuinely saying, it's so insane. People were genuinely saying that Kana was just going to save the series. Like, after Akane basically dropped out and was like, I'm going to help Kana, people were literally saying that Kana was just going to save the entire Oshinoko manga. And you know what, guys? Honestly, I was okay with that, okay? When Kana was going on this date, when the author was pushing for, Kana to finally get some appreciation, because she just gets down, what's the word? She just gets treated like shit throughout this entire, like, storytelling of this manga. And when she finally gets spotlight with Aqua, when it seems like she's finally about to achieve her dream of, like, getting romantically involved with Akka, it still just ends up going nowhere. People legitimately were saying that she was about to save Oshinoko, and she just ended up not doing crap. She doesn't even know the truth, guys. She doesn't even know the truth of the fact that Aqua killed himself. That's how you that this like genuinely I can't help but just feel bad for you Kana fans, because the author clearly just does not give a crap about her and just wants her to suffer. She doesn't even know that Aqua was the one that stabbed himself and then pushed him and his father off the bridge. She doesn't know crap. She's never involved in anything. The whole like revenge aspect of this story, Kana wasn't involved in it at all. And then even on the romantic side of things, you got a revenge side and a romantic side. She doesn't get crap in either one, and I just feel so bad for you Kana fans. I genuinely I do feel bad for you guys. But then, at the same time, I'm an Akane fan, and I think if there's one of a few good things you can take out of this series end, is that Akane fans, we low key won. that is like one minute win I think us Akane fans can take, is the fact that here she got to know the liar that Aqua was. She got to know she knew about Aqua, everything about Aqua from pretty much from the very beginning, And she also is like the only one that Aqua has confessed his love for, which hey, Kana fans, I think y'all can like debatably say y'all got second between the three. We still had Ruby in there for a minute. But even though Ruby did get to like kiss him, Aqua still said that like he only thought of her as a sister and everything. So, Kana fans, you can maybe take a second place there, maybe. All right, I'm sorry. This video, I don't know what I'm doing in this video anymore. I think the last thing that I want to talk about here, all right, last thing I think is let's answer the big question. Is Oshinoko's manga ending as bad as the likes of JJK? Because I think that's what most people are comparing it to right now, that it's as bad as JJK. I think I agree with that it's definitely either as bad or worse. I'm leaning a little bit more towards this is worse than JJK, because if you think about, let's think about JJK's ending, okay? So even though it wasn't a good ending, and I think the biggest thing between the two series is that there were so many unresolved questions, like with JJK, the question of, the USA and like the entire world knowing about cursed spirits and everything. What's going to happen with that? Tengen's barrier, how is it still functional? What's going to happen there? The higher up was just literally like, nah, just don't worry about it, we'll deal with it. And then you got unresolved things inside Oshinoko, like what was on Ruby's DVD when that their mother left for them. Is Aqua like with his mother, with their mother now? Did he see her? What was truly the point of like Tsukiyomi? What was the point of her in this thing? I'm leaning more towards it's worse, because it feels like the unsatisfactory things in Oshinoko are worse than the unsatisfactory things in JJK. Because if you think about it, at the end of the day, JJK is just a battle shonen. And so it's the fights are what you're there for, genuinely. It's a battle shonen, and so like the story aspect of it, outside of the battles, it's like it matters, but it's like at the end of the day, it's a battle shonen, and we got battles, okay? With Oshinoko, it's like it's a drama, okay? The character interactions, the whole story, all of it matters, okay? And so it just feels like Oshinoko's ending is worse, just because the negative things, the contradictions, the unsatisfying like resolution to things, characters being treated dirty, you know? The characters in this, the characters are what make this story. In a drama, the characters are what makes the story, and this ending just completely butchers like all the characters. So that's why right now it's definitely as bad or worse. I'm leaning more towards Oshinoko is like definitely like worse right now, and you don't even have to believe me. You can just see like other people's opinions on Twitter, like I showed. Like I said, I think it's it's an overwhelming people are saying that it's just like not really a good ending. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything I had to say. You know, it is crazy. The downfall is crazy, and you know, now people are saying that they're never gonna read another work by Aka, and I think that's rightfully so. You know, if you're an author and you're just gonna get bored of your series and treat it like it's nothing, then you know people are just gonna stop reading it. You know, Aka clearly got bored of this series towards the end, and it definitely shows, and it makes for just a bad ending, like a pretty bad ending, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I tried to give all my thoughts and opinions in here, but please let me know all of your thoughts and opinions, you know. Tell me like some opinions you have, some opinions you've seen from other people, and you know, just tell me everything, you know. I'm thinking about making a video ranking like all of my favorite arcs in Oshinoko. So, you know, if you want to see that video, you know, like this, comment, tell me if you want it, and subscribe too, please. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this video here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.